Hello and welcome to Lexx Education, the comedy science podcast where comedian me, Laura Lexx, tries to learn science from her still in absentia normal brother Ron. Ron is alive, I can confirm. I popped to Brussels this week to do some shows. Hello, anybody listening that started listening after Brussels. How have you got here already? You should absolutely be back in the correct portion of the podcast. Episode 1, well, maybe 10 by now. You saw the show on Tuesday. Anyway, listen, I've seen Ron. He's alive. He's done gallivanting around Sweden or Norway or wherever he was. I'm sure he'll want to tell us about it in more detail when he gets back. This is the last time it will be solo Laura. But if you like solo Laura and you're like, oh, it's lovely when Ron's not there ruining the podcast, why not join our Patreon, where this Friday we released an episode that was Ask Me Anything, and you beautiful people on the internet asked me questions of varying levels of intimacy, and I answered them to the best of my ability in a sort of intimate one-to-one to all of you. It was quite lovely. I had a nice time. I was worried it would be a little boring, but actually the feedback's been delightful. So join our Patreon. Give us a reason to keep making the show, a financial reason. I'm just going to go and pause that flapping in the breeze. Bear with me. I don't even know if you can hear it. It's driving me crazy, though. There we go. It stopped. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Pay for this? Because it's so professional. You should. Anyway, hello. How are you? I hope you're very well. I've had a very tiring week where just lots of physical stuff and lots of brain stuff. And by Friday, I felt quite dead. I think it was the heat. But I feel a lot better now. I've had 2 days of no working out and no rampaging around cycling everywhere. So I feel a bit better. And today we're going to a local RSPCA dog show. So I'm so excited to see 100 dogs in one field. It's going to be very, very good. Between you, me and the wall, we are slightly considering getting a third dog, a second dog, maybe a third. We're slightly considering a second dog as a buddy for Mackie, because obviously pack animals, aren't they? And maybe she'd like a friend that wasn't me. So I'm a part of my plan today. I'm like, hey, dudes, it's just a free afternoon thing to do. Then we're going to get there. I'm going to see a cute dog and I'm going to be like, oh, Tom, husband of the podcast, I think we need that one. And he's such a little cutie. He'll just be like, oh, we do. It needs help. So that's my plan. I'll let you know how it goes next week. Next week, episodes-wise, we are recording. It's our bloody 3rd anniversary, gang. On the 4th of July, which was our original launch date. So how many episodes is that coming up? It's not far off now. Couple of weeks. 7th of July will be our 3rd anniversary episode. We have roped in the wonderful team from the Way We Were podcast, and they are coming on to be our guests. As you know, we have guests once a year on our anniversary. Previous include Dara O'Brien and Beck Hill. And this year, we've got the wonderful Way We Were team, and they're going to come on and we're going to talk all about the science of love and relationships and couples, because that's what they do on their podcast. If you don't listen, it's a lot of fun. Okay, so on to this episode. Have a lovely time. It's a me edit, so it's actually been edited. I think there's sound effects galore. I was having a really good time with this episode. I'm hot in this episode, which is ironic now because now it's like 32 degrees and it's way hotter here. But at the time, I was stuck behind an airbed and it was plastic. So enjoy, and I'll see you afterwards. The trouble is, there's a big airbed next to me, and every time I lean on it, I stick to it and feel all sweaty because I'm sitting next to a big plastic mat.
Physics, Laura.
Doesn't exist.
So, I thought we could try...
Is physics the one we do with zhuzh?
No, it's chemistry that we do with zhuzh.
There was no zhuzh.
Apart from the last episode, because that was unjudgeable and we discussed it and we agreed.
I think the zhuzh should carry over then.
All right. Yeah, well, if you hadn't interrupted me,
Ooh.
I was going to say that we are going to zhuzh this episode.
Yes.
But we're going to do it in a segments kind of way, by just cutting to something else every now and again.
Okay.
All right, Laura, would you rather you could only eat skins, or whenever you did something, it had to be on all the way?
What does that mean?
You're watching the TV, volume's got to be at the top. Shower's on, it's got to either be all cold or all hot. Oven's on, max temp, baby.
I think I could live with skins. Potato skins, delicious. Leather,
Carrot skins.
I could get used to it.
You're not eating leather, are you?
I don't feel good, Ron. I'm so hot.
You getting skins then?
Well, I don't want to always be burned and freezing. That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Is bacon like the edge of a pig?
No.
Oh, crackling's nice though.
Yeah, you could eat crackling.
Salmon skin rolls.
Yeah. Well, you could eat the salmon skin. You couldn't eat the roll.
Ah, well, rice is its own skin though.
No. Rice doesn't have a skin. You can't eat
Everything
rice.
has a skin.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, it's a cell wall is basically plant skin.
No.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. That's not what skin is.
Yeah, that's what skin is.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm saying out the parameters here. Rice doesn't have a skin.
It does.
You could cook milk a bit until that gets a skin.
Delicious.
You could eat milk skins.
You'd have to drink hot chocolate really slowly, just every time a skin developed on the top, you can peel that bit off and eat it.
Well, you're allowed to drink whatever you like. You just can only eat skins.
Yeah, I'm doing that one. In
Fair.
a way, no, I'm not going to say that in case I develop like a gluten intolerance or something.
Okay, Laura, do you remember what we were doing last time on physics?
I do not, Ron. I do simply not.
Well, eyes closed, head first. Let's plow on into 3.2.1.2.
I mean, you could be a teacher and tell me.
No, you're not, it's not worth it, Laura. I can't just tell you the same things over and over and over again.
Ron, do you realise what else I've been up to since we last did that? So much stuff.
So?
I'm busy. I can't be just wandering around remembering bits of physics.
I don't just sit in a cupboard under the stairs. It's like in between episodes.
But you look at everything before we start recording to remind yourself.
Ha! Do I fuck?
You said you prepped the episodes.
I opened 4 tabs that I haven't read, and now we're going to go through them.
Then you should be doing a lot more other work because you're always flinging that I do all the prep for the episodes in my face.
Nah, I do a lot of prep, to be fair.
Bullshit.
The quiz is prep.
1 question a week.
No, I write more questions. You don't engage with them, so I don't bother reading them out. How many times do you want me to ask you something and then for you to just go, and then we move on?
Well, let's not mess with a formula that's working. It's so hot. I need to lie down.
3.2.1.2, Laura, we're doing stable and unstable nuclei.
Okay.
So last time what we did was we talked about different types of radiation. We talked about nuclide notation, which is with the A, the X, and the Z. Do you remember that?
Oh, was I there?
Z was the proton number.
Yeah, a big X.
Yeah, big X.
Z is the number of protons. A is the protons and
number.
neutrons.
Yeah, the nucleon number.
Did you hear that growl?
No, do it again.
No, I can't. It was a burp.
No. Okay, Laura.
What did you get Mum for her birthday?
A book of walks in Somerset and the Mendips.
Oh,
What did you get her?
nothing. I haven't seen her.
Wow, wow. I did see her, but I just always get something delivered to her house.
I'm in New Zealand. It's tricky.
Yeah, and you don't care.
Yeah. I do care about her. I just find it very hard to engage with the real world when I'm somewhere else.
Her birthday's too close to Mother's Day.
Yeah.
It is hard to care.
Yeah, I'll get her something at some point.
Yeah, just like a bag of sort of steel offcuts or something.
What?
it's just sort of riffing something that you might get for her.
That's insane.
Yeah, but I feel like, that you might do that. It's like a Hessian sack of just scrap metal.
Stable and unstable nuclei.
I really made myself laugh.
Yeah,
you
have.
I don't know why it didn't work for you, to be honest.
I just don't really get the link, I suppose.
No, it's just because you're very apathetic, so you're not going to put loads of time into.
It would take me so long to find a Hessian bag full of scrap metal.
Yeah.
That would be really tricky, I think.
No, I'm pretty sure there's several Hessian sacks of scrap metal in that sort of scrubby little 2x5 meter stretch of wasteland opposite your house. There's like that van, and then there's like a really thin strip of wasteland.
Yeah.
And then it goes down the hill. I reckon there's loads of scrap metal there. You just have to get the sack.
Where would you get a sack from? A local farm?
Dobbies.
Dobbies. Dobbies has changed a lot lately. I
Yeah?
miss Dobbies.
How's it changed?
They took the front off. They've got a new cafe in there.
Oh, the old cafe was nice.
The old cafe's still there. That you can go there for main meals, but now the other cafe is just for cakes. The new cafe.
So one's a restaurant and one's a cafe.
Yeah.
Mental. Okay. Laura, can you remember what the strong nuclear force does?
Pulls things towards the nucleus.
At what range?
1
One what?
atom.
At the range of one atom, it pulls things towards the nucleus. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
It's good, but it's not right.
Oh.
The strong nuclear force, it does keep the nucleus together, not necessarily the atom. It has a attraction force of 3 femtometers and then a very short range repulsion, anything closer than 0.5 femtometers.
I don't think we discussed this.
I think we did, but that's fine.
What's the repulsion about?
It's just when at very close distances, it's repulsive.
We did not discuss this.
We did.
We didn't.
We did.
We didn't.
We did. Probably anyway. I'm pretty sure I sent you a graph to that effect.
No, that's lies.
Laura, what are the 3 types of radiation? Because that's what we're mainly going to be
You
talking
sent me a
about
picture of your own tummy button. Molly Malone. I sent you a mountain. Scrolling. You sent me whizzy bits of whizzy. Peptide bonds. The last interface is not available. The line of stability.
Yeah, it would have
No
been the
graphs.
it would have been the physics episode before that one.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking. That's all about membranes.
Oh, the horses episode. The horses episode was great.
Crispy doses.
Yeah, maybe I didn't, to be fair.
I don't think you did, Ron. I'm back in the 15th of April and there's no graph to this effect.
All right, forget about it then.
A mural of a wolf.
Forget about it.
A typical hash brown has around 140 to 150 calories. No, we're back in Eggathon territory.
Yeah,
Lies from Ron.
Didn't go through it. But just remember that, okay? Just remember what I've told you there. Okay?
No, I feel dreadful.
Oh, fucking hell. All right, Laura, what are the 3 types of radiation?
Alpha, gamma, beta.
Yes, and what are they?
Don't know. Oh, alpha's when it fires a proton.
Nope.
Alpha's when it fires a helium nucleus.
Yes, what's a helium nucleus?
1 proton, 1 neutron.
No.
2 protons, 2 neutrons.
Yeah. What's beta radiation?
Electrons firing electrons.
Yes. What's gamma radiation?
Fires the whole bullet.
No.
Fires just a neutron.
Is there a sneaking family again?
Yes. They didn't want to go swimming today, so they're just fighting over the door.
I just edited the sneaking family episode. It's very funny.
Yeah. Husband of the podcast has returned home now. Everybody's a bit done with being away. We leave tomorrow, so we're just in that like cleaning and packing and just
limbo.
It's going to rain all day today, so we're not entirely sure what to do with ourselves.
Why don't you go see a film?
Well, I suggested that, going to see Lilo and Stitch, but then we weren't sure whether asking them to sit in the dark and watch a film was really stupid just before a 27-hour flight.
Yeah, maybe.
Bear with. As I said, everyone's a bit done with being away.
Yeah, you've been away for a long time.
Yeah, everybody's done very well, and now it's time to go home.
Indeed. Okay, Laura. So, correctly surmised, alpha decay, alpha radiation is when it shoots off a helium nucleus, which is 2 protons and 2 neutrons. Beta radiation, specifically beta minus, which is what we're talking about here, it shoots off an electron and an anti-electron neutrino.
Neutrino? That's a great word.
Yeah, fun, isn't it?
Yeah. What was gamma?
Gamma is very high energy electromagnetic radiation, i.e. the same energy spectrum as visible light and X-rays and microwaves and things like that, but just
So it's energy.
It's electromagnetic radiation.
Okay.
So we're going to learn about what happens when you get this kind of decay happening. We're going to talk about alpha radiation first, okay, Laura?
Okay.
So, using the nuclide notation that we learnt last time, I'd like you to just write out the nuclide notation for uranium-238.
Right. Okay. So you are uranium. Where are you? There it is. Right. So that's a U. A big U. Protons and neutrons. So is that 238?
Uranium-238?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 238 for uranium-238.
So is that A? A is 238.
Yeah. the 238 bit is denoting the different isotopes of an element. So you could have uranium-239, and it'd still be uranium, but the nucleon number would be 239. You see?
And how do I know how many protons it has?
Talk me through it. You know this. We've talked about this so many times. Of course you know this.
I don't know if I know this, Ron.
The number of protons defines the element. Every uranium atom has the same number of protons. That's what makes it uranium. It is recorded on the periodic table. It's one of the two numbers.
92?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now, uranium-238, Laura, is an alpha emitter. Okay?
Yeah, boy.
So, I want you... so, what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to write the equation for this. Okay? So, we've got uranium-238, and then you draw an arrow pointing right from that.
Damn it, I've done it right over to the right of my page.
Odd. Do it again.
No, I'll just do a small arrow.
Or no, we'll do the arrow going left then into the space.
You've said right, and I've drawn right now.
Fuck's sake. Well, no, you have to write more stuff.
How much stuff?
Just more stuff. Either do it left or write it again. Either do it left or write it again.
Okay, done it.
You're really testing me now.
I'm not.
You are. You haven't done it. Which one are you going to do?
Right is fine. I've got space.
Show me.
Ugh.
Why did you write it there? That's fucking unhinged. It's like the worst place you could have written it.
Yeah, I see that now.
Okay, so an alpha particle, as we know, is two protons and two neutrons. We can write that in nuclide notation as well. We use alpha, the letter, in place of the element's letter.
Mm-hmm.
And then can you work out what the other bits would be?
A 4 at the top and a 2 at the bottom.
Yes, Laura. So that's one of the products of this.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Laura, if that has just left the nucleus of our uranium-238,
Yeah.
what's left?
Oh, I think it would be thorium.
Where's uranium?
At the bottom in the brown.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, tick tick to thorium. Thorium what?
Thorium 228.
Thorium-28?
228.
Why would it be thorium-228? Talk that through.
Because it's lost 4 of its atomic number.
What's lost for?
The uranium. Wait. Thorium 234.
Yes, there you go. Well done. So as you've correctly seen there, thorium usually has an atomic weight of 232. And sometimes having weird isotopes like that, like having some thorium-234, you would then know that that's been the product of nuclear decay. So you can trace where that is. That's how carbon dating works.
Oh.
Okay, Laura. So we need a way to well, there's a pattern to this, obviously, right? So we can write that down using just kind of like almost algebra in our formula. So if you draw out your X with your A and your Z again.
Yep.
And then draw another arrow to the right. I swear to God, if you've just drawn that X on the right-hand side, I'm going to be so cross. And then there's going to be 2 products from that. One of them's going to be your alpha particle, alpha 42.
Mm-hmm.
That's always going to be one of them. And then we're going to represent the other element with a y. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what's the pattern between A and the element y's A?
It's
A minus 4.
xz minus az.
No, it's A minus 4. You took 4 away from it.
From A?
Yeah.
Surely from x. Do you know what's
No.
confusing here, Ron? Is that there's 2 a's in this.
Why are there 2? No, there's an alpha and there's an A.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Alpha is different to A.
How?
It's a different letter in a different alphabet.
Well, how are you drawing an alpha?
It's kind of got a curly bum.
Is it a little a?
It's a little A with a curly bum.
Right, well, nobody told me this.
Well, you didn't ask.
So, yeah, okay, so a minus 4.
And then what about for Z?
Z is z minus 2.
Absolutely. So then we've got a pattern that we can apply to every element that is an alpha emitter.
Z and 2 are really similar, aren't they? They're like a horse and a zebra.
Yeah. One of them looks like Razor from Robot Wars, and the other one more kind of like an hourglass fading into obsolescence.
Yeah.
Okay, Laura. We're going to do the same thing, but for beta radiation. Okay?
Okay.
Now, as you know, nothing in the universe can ever be created or ever be destroyed. So, things balance. Okay?
Yeah.
So, what's the charge of an electron?
Drunk driving.
Eating a meal.
A succulent Chinese meal. -1, Ron.
Yes. So, when that electron leaves the nucleus, what's the charge of the nucleus going to be relative to what it was before?
-1.
Why would that be?
Because it's lost. Oh, no, +1.
Yes, it's going to be 1 higher than it was before. Because with beta radiation, Laura, what's happening is a neutron is pinging out that electron and becoming a proton.
I thought it was electrons were going.
Yes, let me say exactly what I just said again.
Sorry,
A
I was thinking about
neutron-
light switches.
A neutron is pinging out the electron and becoming a proton. But that proton, that nucleon, stays in the nucleus. It just shoots out the electron.
I feel like you've just changed channel without telling me. I thought it was an electron leaving.
I don't know how I could say it any differently or any more clearly. The neutron shoots out the electron. It emits the electron.
But electrons aren't in the neutrons.
A neutron releases an electron and becomes a proton.
Oh,
Things
I
are-
see. It's not one of the guys out of the shell going.
No.
Okay.
It's a new electron that didn't
The
exist
thing is,
before
Ron,
this
also
event.
neutron and nucleus are too similar as words, so they're the same in my head.
Okay.
So, shoots out an electron.
A new electron. Brand new.
Okay.
So, let me quickly just... Okay. So, so the example that we're going to use is actually, we'll use the carbon dating, beta decay. So, carbon-14 is a beta emitter.
Right.
Okay. So, could you write carbon-14 in your nucleon notation?
So, it's a 14 at the top and a 6 at the bottom.
Absolutely. And then we draw an arrow to the right.
And I've left
What's-
loads of space to the right.
What's that going to become?
Well, so the 14 is kind of going to stay the same, but it's going to become 14-7?
Yep, which is
Carbon 7. A
when
mole.
the no. You were doing really well, and you still are. We can do this. The proton number
Yeah.
defines the element. So if the proton number changes, the
That's
element
now become
changed.
nitrogen.
Yes, nitrogen 14.
And then what do you do to define the... Is there a beta thing like there was an alpha
Yes.
thing?
A beta thing is a capital B with a curly tail. Let me send you what that looks like. Because also you need to know how to write down what an anti-electron neutrino looks like.
Oh, a beta's lovely. Okay, done that, Ron.
Do you want to describe the anti-electron neutrino?
It's like a V that's having a party.
Yeah, and it's got a hat over the top of it,
Oh,
which
I
is
was
how you
thinking
know
it's under a table.
it's under the table, which is how you know it's antimatter.
So that always goes with this beta particle, does it?
Yeah. Don't ask me why, I don't know.
Whee! And then it's got a little E there. That's its pouch of drugs. That's why the party's so good. And 2 big round eyes.
So, if we're to do our sort of formula again in the way that we did the last one, we can have our X with the A and the Z, and then that's going to go to a Y with just A again, because that's not changing. The Y will then have Z plus 1.
Hang on, what? X with the A and the Z, and that's going to a
Y.
Yeah, with
What
A,
happens to the A?
and then it's Z plus 1.
Z plus 1.
Yep. Plus all this beta stuff.
Plus all the extra bits, yeah. So that the Y, the thing that it becomes, you can refer to that as the daughter nucleus. You got the parent nucleus and the daughter nucleus.
What?
That's just, don't worry. That's just a bit of notation. Don't worry about it. I was actually wrong. That's not the carbon dating one. The carbon dating one's a different one.
Boo!
Yeah, that's a good place to stop.
Ron, that was very enjoyable, and I think I've understood it.
Lovely stuff.
Can't wait to play a sting and eat shit in the quiz. I've let my tea go too cold.
God, I wish I had some tea.
I'm so excited to get back to the UK and have proper tea.
I'm so surprised you guys didn't travel with Yorkshire tea bags.
You can't bring anything like that into New Zealand.
Oh, I wonder why.
Because they're protecting the biosphere type stuff, eco
I get
habitat.
that, but tea bags, come on.
They make a big deal of it at the airport.
Yeah, they're cowards. Cowards and charlatans, the lot of them.
I went to a really rad place here, Ron, where it's called Zealandia, and it's just outside Wellington. And they've got this whole valley and gorge, and it's really cool. And then they've put up a massive fence around it. And then they're trying to just leave it to rewild, to go back to how New Zealand was pre-humans.
Interesting.
So they've got a lot of native birds in there, and then they've put up this mammal fence because there were just like no mammals on New Zealand until humans. So all like rats and cats and dogs and stuff all came with people. And it's just fascinating. So that's why there's so many flightless birds and stuff there. But how interesting is that just nothing evolved in that direction here?
What do you mean?
Well, there were just no mammals.
Yeah, because they hadn't arrived.
Huh?
Mammals have to travel from one place to another. Mammals can't just evolve in a place.
Well, they did.
What do you mean?
Well, how else did mammals become anything?
One thing became a mammal and then diversified.
Yeah. Nothing
Mammals
did
didn't
that on New Zealand.
No, one thing did that ever.
Yeah. Not on New Zealand.
No, not in New Zealand. No, we agree on that.
Yeah.
It feels like you think mammals should evolve in every ecosystem.
Well, you'd think something would fill that gap. If you've got flightless birds wandering around, you'd think something would go, easy pickings, I'll have them.
The flightless birds are filling that gap.
Well, they're not
The
eating
gap of
each
the
other.
mammals. Of course they were.
I don't think so.
You fundamentally don't understand evolution.
Yeah, it was just a theory. I'll learn it when it's proved.
It is proved.
It's not proved, Ron.
It, of course, is proved.
Is proved the right word? Isn't it proven?
Proved.
I think, isn't proved mean that the yeast has got to work and it's...
No. Yeast is proven.
Don't know about
Evolution
that.
is proved. Anywho, shall we do a quiz?
Do it! Do it!
Ooh, New Caledonia. Is that in? No, New Caledonia is not where I thought it was. Anywho, Laura, we were talking about... What were we talking about in the bulk of the episode?
We were talking about different radiations and how you notate them with little curly B's and curly A's and proton boutons.
Yes. So, Laura, I'd like you to please draw the equation for radium-226
Hang on, Ron.
to emit an alpha particle.
No, I said hang on. It's null
Yes.
and void if you don't listen to my hang on requirements.
It's an audio medium, though, so I'm gonna finish the sentence because
Ron,
also just
Ron,
listen while you do whatever you're doing.
No. Did you say radon or rhodium?
I said radium.
Well, that's a whole different thing.
That was in the bit before the hang on.
Radium 226.
Yep.
What's happening to it?
It's emitting an alpha particle.
Okay, so I've drawn an RA. Ah, gosh, it's so impossible to be comfortable in this recording setup.
So you've been in a different place every time and uncomfortable in all of them.
Well, before, when the family were off getting wet, I did it in the... There's only one room and then 2 bedrooms off it in this flat. And then today, and yesterday, I was doing it in the bedroom so that they can have the main room. And it's horrible. Right, it's emitting a what, Ron?
An alpha particle.
An alpha particle. Okay, so that's the little curly bum A. And that's...
There's a curious ghost apparently behind you.
I don't think it's actually in the room. Is it in the room? Where are you? Child? Pardon?
I think she might have been talking under the door.
Yeah, I think so. So, we need the thing that is 80. Where's 80? There. Ooh, I think it's making mercury, which for some reason is Hungary. It's making... No, why did I think we needed 80? We need 86. Radon. Ooh, radon was involved.
I said radium.
Yeah, but now I've taken 2 protons off, so it's turned into radon.
Oh, lovely.
I think I've made radon 222.
What's the full equation, though?
What do you mean?
I want you to write out the full equation, remember?
Oh, Ra22688, arrow, alpha 42, radon 22286.
Lovely stuff. Well done, Laura. We learnt about a different type of radiation as well, though, in this episode. We learnt about beta minus radiation. Strontium-90 is a beta minus emitter.
Hang on, strontium 90. That's scandium.
Indeed.
90.
Can you draw me the equation for that?
Strontium. Where the bloody hell that's samarium. Strontium, there it is. So I'm looking at here, an SR. It's 38 at the bottom, and it's 87.620 at the top. Okay, now this makes a B with a curly tail thing. How did this work? What it was that it gains a proton. So it's going to become 39, which is yttrium.
Pronounced yttrium, I believe.
Oh, I thought it was sponsored by everybody's favourite arsehole, Kanye.
Do you remember Coney 2012?
Yeah.
What was that about?
Oh, was he like some kind of warlord that was going about capturing children?
What was happening there?
I think the weight stays the same because essentially it's only lost an electron and they are negligible. So it's 0 there and -1 there. So I think it's SR 87 and 38, and then that's a beta with a 0 at the top and -1 at the bottom. And then it's Y 87.62, etc., etc., and then 39.
Why would the Y be have etc., etc.?
Because that's the weight of it, 87.620.
But it can't have a point on the weight, can it? Because the weight is the number of neutrons and protons.
So do I just round that up?
Well, you know that it's strontium 90.
Oh, I didn't hear you say that. Okay, so it's 90.
Yeah, there you go. Lovely. Okay, Laura. Describe the strong nuclear force.
Is that the force that is holding the nucleus together?
Yep.
It's electromagnetic?
No.
It's nuclear.
It's the strong nuclear force.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. You need to say
it's
it as
3 centimeters and it's repulsion at very close range.
Yeah, but you've definitely read that.
Yeah, I have read that, to be fair.
Yeah, we'll give you 0 marks for that one, huh?
Oh.
All right, Laura. Last question for this quizaroo. What is gamma radiation?
Electromagnetic radiation.
Give me a descriptor.
Strong electromagnetic radiation.
Just what do you mean by strong?
Forceful.
What do you mean by forceful?
Very high energy.
What differentiates it between visible light?
The radio waves.
Radio waves are a different type of electromagnetic radiation.
The energy level.
Ooh, yes, it's high energy. Why is it high energy?
Because it's charged.
No.
Because it's splitty.
You're going to get half a mark for this one. It's high frequency.
Frequency's not a word in my notes.
But much better. That's, well, your brain used to be pristine on that subject. Now there is a smear of...
On the skid mark of learning.
Yeah. So well done for that.
Woohoo!
And that's the quiz.
Yes! 100%. Don't tell Ron, but I'm actually quite enjoying the radiation stuff. I really like radiation. I think it's a good subject. How are you feeling about radiation? I just left a pause there so you could shout your answers into your headphones or do what you do. Anyway, I guess I'll let you go because there's not much banter to be had. I can't ask myself how many batteries I'm holding because I know. It's currently none, but I am looking at 7 batteries lying on my desk and I do want to pick them up and I was going to say and play with myself then, but that would be very different audio, wouldn't it? It would make a lot more money though, wouldn't it? This is the problem with the world. I'm forever seeing headlines about how much OnlyFans people are making. And I think if I stopped sharing my stupid brain and started sharing my stupid body, I could probably make a lot more money. I think somebody must be into this weird dough business that is my body. I actually ended up doing some pole dancing on stage last night. I was comparing at Comedia, and there was a woman in the front row who was a fitness instructor, but pole fitness. And so she was teaching me some moves, and I was using the microphone stand. I don't think it was sexy, but it got some good laughs. We'll have to see if that gets clipped up. Don't forget to follow the Comedy Bureau, the.comedy.bureau on YouTube and on Instagram and TikTok, I think. You can't quite subscribe to it as a podcast yet. I haven't set up the feed, but you can subscribe to the other bits just to sort of show us a little swell of support before we start launching. There'll be promo bits and pieces coming very soon. I'm going to be recording tomorrow with Mr. Oliver Double. I'm going to do alternative titles here on the podcast. So we've called this episode A Little A with a Curly Bum. Cute. Other ones I considered: Rice Doesn't Have a Skin, A Hessian Bag Full of Scrap Metal, Whizzy Bits of Whizzy, Like a Horse and a Zebra, or A Smear on the Skid Mark of Learning. And it was very nearly a smear on the skid mark of learning. It was very nearly that. And then I thought, do you know what? I quite like it when the episode title has just a little hint about what we studied. I think that's fun. And I don't want to put off new listeners for being too puerile all the time. We're little filth boxes. So I went for the curly A, because then maybe we'll remember that was it alpha? I think it meant alpha, didn't it? I've already forgotten. Anyway, I love you very much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for putting up with Ron being away. Or, sorry, it's the end of Ron being away and he's going to be back. Although he hasn't really been away for you, has he? Because he's been here in the lessons. It feels to me like he's been gone forever. Oh, I had the most European... Sorry, I did say I was going to go, but I don't want to go back downstairs. So I was in Brussels for one night. Did a great gig. If you live in or near Brussels, there was a great gig at the... I don't know how to pronounce it, but it was spelt RITCS, Ritz Cafe. It's like a film school or something. Great gig there, run by a guy called Sven, who was absolutely lovely. Had a beautiful gig. And then me and Ron and girlfriend of the podcast Judith, we sat out on the street in 28 degrees, and because it was Europe, everybody was just smoking and I was drinking cherry beer. I wasn't smoking. It makes me feel sick and I don't like it, but it felt so European, and there was a pond full of big light up ducks and I liked it. And then I went back to my hotel room. I spent about 18 hours total in Brussels and then got back on a train and came back again. I felt so cosmopolitan. Anyway, go now. Enjoy your week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here and enjoying the podcast. Thanks for enjoying the sort of things I like making. Class dismissed. That was wrong, but he was doing a bit. I don't know what bit though.